Hi everyone, please welcome to another lesson in French. Today we're going to explain question words. In French we say les mots interrogatifs, which means question words. So those are the words you use mostly at the beginning of the questions. So yeah, we have here key. Remember when we were doing the phonetics, we said Q, U, it sounds K, K. So that's key, key. We don't say Q, we just say key. So K, U, that's K. So you read key, which means who in English. We have here quoi, quoi. Always remember Q and U sounds K, K. So O-E is wa, wa. So that's quoi, quoi, which means what. We have que, que, which means that. Okay, here we have quel. We have two quel here. So que, u, que, that's que. And el, that's quel, quel. But here, quel with only one L is masculine. Is put in front of masculine noun. So, and then also you see here, there is S in the bracket. So that means it can be masculine plural. It can be only masculine on its own, but it can be masculine plural. And then also here we have quel with double L and E. So that's feminine, masculine. But when you add S here, which is always mute, the S at the end is always mute. When it's plural, feminine plural. But they all means what, what. But we have OU, which sounds oo, oo. But there is an accent here on top of the oo, which means where. It's when you're asking a question, you said where. In French, you said où. Okay, here we have pourquoi, pourquoi. So, P-O-U-R, O-U on its own is ou. So P-O-U-R is pour. And here, Q-U is que. So O-E is wa. So pourquoi. That's why in English. And then we have quand, quand. Remember when we explained the phonetics on the previous video, we said AN sounds un, un. And then also D at the end here is mute. You don't pronounce the D at the end. So you said quand, quand, because Q, U sounds que, que. So that's quand, which means when. Okay, we have combien, combien. It's like when you're asking a price or you're asking numbers. You can say here, combien, which is how many. How many or how much is the same. But in English here, there is a difference. So when you're talking about quantity, that's why you said how much. So, no, sorry. When you're talking about the numbers, you said how many. But when you're talking about quantity, that's what you're talking about how much. But in French, it's the same. Combien, whether numbers or quantity, it's the same. You said combien. All right. I'm going to give you few examples here with those words asking questions. Right. The first one, which is qui, which is who. Okay. An example is in French is qui est ton professeur? Qui est ton professeur? Which means, but when asking questions, whether in English or French, you always have the question mark at the end. So yeah. In French, in English, which means who is your teacher? So qui est ton professeur? Which means who is your teacher? Here we have comment. Comment. That is like how. If you're saying how many or how are you? An example is in French we said comment ça va? Comment ça va? It's like asking someone, how are you? How are you? That's a question word as well. Comment. Comment. So yeah, comment means how. We have quand. Quand, which means when. An example in French is quand pars-tu pour l'école? L'école. So remember when we explained in previous videos, we said école, which means school, but because it is a vowel, so the article here, you put the L apostrophe. So quand pars, also S here at the end of par is mute. Quand pars-tu pour l'école? When are you going to school? We have ou here, which is OU with the accent. Où. Où est ce que tu habites? Où est ce que tu habites? Here, there is S at the end of habit, which is mute. But always asking question, there is a question mark at the end, which means, where do you live? Où est ce que tu habites? Which means, where do you live? Okay, we have pourquoi. Pourquoi, which is why. So, an example of that is, pourquoi mange-t-il une pomme? Pourquoi mange-t-il une pomme? Which means, why is he eating an apple? Une pomme means an apple. We have quel. Quel here is masculine, singular, masculine. So we ask, which means what? So this phrase here is asking, quel sport préfère-t-elle? Quel sport préfère-t-elle? So when asking a question, when the verb and the subject, when the verb ends by a vowel and also the subject ends by a vowel, begins by a vowel, you always add this T here and you separate. Tel. Quel sport préfère-t-elle? Which means what sport she prefers. So also we have quel. That's singular. Quelle with only one L at the end. But quelle here with double L and E at the end, which is feminine and singular. Quelle, because here the noun activity, no, activité is feminine. Activité, une activité is feminine. That's why here is has double L and E at the end, because activité is feminine. Okay, asking the question, quelle activité préfère-t-elle? What activity she prefers? Quelle activité préfère-t-elle? Which means in English, what activity she prefers? That's the question. Okay, we have que, Q-U, which is que, but this is the verb, But because the end of que, we have a vowel, and then also beginning of the verb, we have which is a vowel. So the end of the question word is ends by which is a vowel, and the beginning of the verb is a vowel. So that's why we put here Q, U, and the apostrophe, but we don't put the A to say que, No, you don't say que, So you just connect these two together with the apostrophe, which becomes qu'est ce que vous portez? Qu'est-ce que vous portez? With the question mark at the end. What are you carrying? What are you carrying? Okay, we have combien here. Combien, which means, remember here, I said it means how much or how many. It depends. Combien. So the question is, combien de sœurs? Sœurs. That is sister. Remember when we were doing the phonetic, we said O, U sounds So sœur. And then S, because sœur is plural. It's plural here. So asking the question, sœur here, S at the end is mute. As-tu? So asking someone, combien de sœurs as-tu? Which means, how many sisters do you have? All right. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you on another video.